Welcome to the Museum of Aquarium and Pet History, where today we're going to talk about the history of aquarium backgrounds. Why am I doing backgrounds? Well, because social media was abuzz with people asking questions of things when I was a kid working in a pet shop of backgrounds that I sold. Plus, I got a phone call from Spectrum or Marineland, and they had something they wanted to give me to the museum. So I want to show that to you later in the video. So make sure you stay tuned and watch the whole thing. Buckle up. Okay, it's going to be a bumpy ride. All right, so when did aquarium backgrounds start? All right, I've looked through all the catalogs, magazines, and everything from the 20s, 30s, and 40s, all the way up to the 50s, and really couldn't find anything for sale on commercially made backgrounds for aquariums. You know, 40s, you had World War II, so that really was problematic. They used a lot of the materials for the war effort. The 50s was really a big decade for the aquarium hobby, but I couldn't find any backgrounds being sold, probably because people made their own background. But in the 60s, starting in 1962, Aquarium Stock Company sold a AquaView plastic laminate background in 3 sizes. Plus, they also sold the foil backgrounds. And they also sold crystal paint. This is like crystal lacquer. Now, this is basically crystallizes when you put on the back of your tank. So not this particular brand, but Cryst-L-Craze was the most popular brand on the West Coast. We sold tons of this and tons of foil backgrounds. That's what everybody bought because this was inexpensive. This was, in fact, this one here has a price of 59 cents on the top. So it wasn't expensive. Foil was very cheap by the foot. And with foil, you simply cut it off, you crumpled it, and then you took it out and you taped it on the edges of the back of the tank and you made a cave effect. So having this crumply foil was really cool. So again, with Cryst-L-Craze, you know, you had it in turquoise, you had it in green, you had these cool little 6-packs that you could buy with colors like blue, yellow, fluorescent pink, orange, red, you could see that one was well used, and black. All right, so you had a lot of different colors in Cryst-L-Craze. And how you used it was really simple. This is how we did it. You simply open the jar, you poured it on the back of the tank, and then you move the tank around. And because the tank has like a lip, has edges here, you can actually just move it and not have to like paint it with a brush. And when it was flattened, you just set it outside because the fumes were nasty. And we didn't know any better. We didn't use a mask or anything. And in 24 hours, it crystallizes. And usually in 2 days, it was pretty solid. And you'd have this beautiful crystal background in the back of your metal frame tank, like this one here. Now, we actually decided to use a crystallized paint, which is still available today, and we will give you the information at the end of the video. We used it on a tank that we made. This is a Hollenbach's Peerless. J.J. Hollenbach made tanks around 1910 to 1920, and he was famous for the Peerless tank, one of the first aluminum tanks made. I found in the Hollenbach catalog, it has this tank which looks like it's crystallized all on the outside. Now, it's a black and white catalog, so we can't tell if it's black or if it's metal like aluminum. It could very well be aluminum, but we tried everywhere to find aluminum with this crystallized design, and we could not find it anywhere. I did find one company in China that actually had a type of crystallized metal, but they wanted $50,000 a roll, so that didn't quite work out for us. But this one here, we basically used the paint on the outside of basically sheet metal, and it crystallized. And so that gave us a tank that looks very much like the black and white image in the Hollenbach catalog for his most famous Peerless tank, which probably we'll never find, which is why we made one. So if we continue and we go to 1963, Aquarium Stock Company still had the same ones. Again, crystal paint. They called it magic crystal paint, which I've never heard of that. And then they started, basically in '63, the Penn-Plax 3D backgrounds. These are super, super collectible. They're super hard to find because these are vacuum formed. So it's very thin plastic that they print on. They put it in a mold that's colorized. Actually, no, they print it colored, and then they put it in the mold to basically stamp it out and make this design. So these are, again, 63. These are old. And it's cool because it has all the Penn-Plax items that they sold during that time, including the really rare swinging mermaid, the creature, and the surfing mermaid. So some of the rarest of the Penn-Plax ornaments are on the back here. This is, of course, the deep sea diver with the sea chest. That looks like a 10-gallon size. Here's another 10-gallon size with a diver going after a shark with a pitchfork. Very cool. Then we have another 10-gallon size. And this is just a sunken galleon ship with a chest in there full of jewels. And then we have a rare 5-gallon size. It's the only one we have, just showing an inside plant scene. And we do have a couple big ones that I'll show you. We've got some 20-gallon size. I think they went up to 40 gallons, but there's a 20-gallon size. And here is another 20-gallon size right here, showing again the sea chest with the ship. And then we have a 20 long, and this is a beautiful purple cave background. It's a little dusty. It's been, of course, in a barn for the last 60 years. Again, 1963. Oh, Cryst-L-Craze also came in cans. And it was made in Gardena, California, which is surprising to me, by Fry Plastics International. I don't know. I know they're not in business anymore, but it's still available. But you can check it out. The other crystallizing paint, you have Growell made a crystallizing paint, and you had Eureka made a crystal paint. And we have some of those in the museum. We only have them in green. Then, of course, Oscar made them. And that one is in dark green. So those are 3 that we had. Now, Penn-Plax also made foil. Now, this is flat foil. It's not foil that you can crumple and make a cave effect. This has to go on flat. But they made it, this is a small size, made it in all different colors. You've got turquoise, you've got green, you've got the red, and you've got black. And then here's a bigger one, a 10-gallon size, and that's like a silver color. But they made it in probably half a dozen different sizes and colors. So that is the Penn-Plax backgrounds in foil. Now, if we continue on and we go to stay on 1963, the backgrounds, the 3D backgrounds, were also sold by Worldwide Aquarium in Brooklyn, New York. And they also had their own foil backgrounds. So they actually made and sold their own foil type backgrounds. Okay, 1970. Interesting what happened in 1970. As we all know, Axelrod got involved with Miracle Pet Products. He purchased them. Now, I'm still investigating Miracle Pet Products. I think Miracle was a plastic company out of Long Beach, California that did injection molding, and they actually made some products. And Axelrod bought the company and then turned it into this big conglomerate. So he may have actually continued having them make the Miracle Pet Product line, or quite a bit of it. But Miracle didn't sell them in these nice, point of purchase type displays. They would send the pet shop a box, and you just open the box and you would have 15 or 20 of these backgrounds that are all vacuum formed. So they would just come apart like this. This one is angelfish. Again, they print it in color on plastic, and then it goes into a mold where it's heated up and pressed, and then you've got this little background here. So that one is 1969 by TFH Publications, says it right on it, but it's sold under the Miracle brand. And we also have a ship one with a woman on the front. This one was marked down to 75 cents, and it was sold by Hoffer's Tropic Life. I remember Hoffer's very fondly. It was a great store. And Mike Hoffer is no longer with us, but what a great hobbyist he was. And then this one is, again, another vacuum-formed background by Miracle, just a plant scene. And it kind of distorts it. But it looks nice when you're looking through the water and you look at the back, and it's got that sort of a weird distorted cave effect. So that is Miracle. Now, This particular one by Living World, or Metaframe, a Mattel company. This is 1978. And I don't know the series. I really need to look it up and see if I can find pictures of the series. This one still has a plastic on it, so it's a little bit dirty, but it's very mod. You know, it would be great to have an aquarium set up with, like, you know, a mod scene of ornaments and put sort of a mod background on the back. So I thought that was really quite interesting. That is, again, Living World, which is when Metaframe was bought out by Mattel, and it was under the Living World brand. So that's that one. Okay, so we continue on. Eureka started selling backgrounds in 1971, the foil and the crystal paint, quite a bit of it. And then a company, Ramco. Ramco was quite well known on the West Coast. They're out of San Jose, and they sold an arcade background, which again looked like this, only flat. It was flat plastic. So that was them. All right, so now we have a lot of other backgrounds that have come out since these older backgrounds, the historical ones, like this one here from Japan. Basically, this is from 5-Plan, huge company in Japan. On the back, they list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different backgrounds they made in a little point of purchase display. So that is that's kind of how they do it today. They also have the Rollacine, which I don't know if Penn-Plax put that out or not, but that's where you basically roll the same background on a roll, and you can cut it at any length and put on the back of your tank. So the other thing that happened to me was I got a email from Jeff Flora, Director of Operations for Spectrum Brands, which is, of course, Marineland. It was formerly Marineland. That's in Moorpark, California. And he was telling me about the the founder. And I have a little thing that they sent me, and it says, these aquarium backdrops have a fascinating origin. In the late 1960s, Robert Sherman, a Cleveland entrepreneur known for manufacturing high-end lobster tanks, moved to California and acquired Aquarium Stock Company in Los Angeles. I did not know that, because I really would love to have the Aquarium Stock Company neon sign. It's spectacular. By 1970, Marineland of the Pacific partnered with Sherman's newly incorporated company, Aquaria, to bring marine science to consumers through a line of aquarium products, including filters, bubble wands, and decorative backgrounds. The artistic force behind many of these products was Chuck Faust, a mechanical engineer and artist hired by Sherman. Chuck hand-drew the aquarium backdrops, which were then reproduced in various sizes. Known for his creativity and sense of humor, Chuck often included a hidden Coors beer can in his artwork, a playful signature that added a touch of mystery and charm to each piece. So here is some of the backgrounds that Chuck had drawn for Spectrum. And this is a ship, of course, and this is, it's cardboard. It's printed on cardboard, but it's like 3D. It's almost like they had 2 pieces of cardboard, did a die cut, and had another piece behind it. All right? And then here is sort of a deep cavern ocean scene, again, 3D, printed on cardboard, which the only problem with that is if it gets wet, that's going to be a little problematic. Here's sort of a Roman column scene, again, 3D printed on cardboard. Now, what I wanted to say is that Joe sent me from Spectrum the original artwork. So let me show you that. So this is the original artwork. This is one of them. And you know how he's talking about the little hidden gem in the painting? There he is. Coors beer can. So each one of these has a Coors beer can, actually the lower right on your side, on the lower right of each painting. See if you could see it. All right. So that's the first beautiful, and I'm trying to see what medium this is. I don't know if this is watercolor or not. I don't think it is. It's not oil, but it's beautiful. This guy's quite a talented artist. Now let me show you the other two. Again, can you see the Coors beer can in the lower right-hand side? So, again, beautiful illustration. I mean, it had to have taken this guy 10, 15, 20 hours to paint this. There's a lot of detail to it. I really want to thank Joe for sending this to the museum, and we definitely will hang it up. And then the last one we got is the ship one. This one I had the hardest time finding the beer can, but it's right there. So you can see there's a little Coors beer can. So there you go. 3 gorgeous paintings sent to the museum, courtesy of Spectrum Brands, aka Marineland, and courtesy of Joe Flora. Again, thank you very much for those. So the one last couple of things I just almost forgot. Eureka made backgrounds similar to Penn-Plax, put them in a box, and this is the cave effect in green. I think they made them in all different colors. I don't have many Eureka backgrounds, so I don't know what other ones they made, but I'll have to find the catalog and check it out. Then another thing, if you don't want backgrounds, you can go front grounds. I just made that up. Aquaframe. So this is by Penn-Plax. Obviously didn't sell, it wasn't on the market long, and this is a frame that you could put on the front of your aquarium. And there's a lot of spiders in here. This again came out of an old barn. But these were plastic frames that you actually attach to the front of your tank. So you could have a frame that you could frame your tank in. They came in different colors. And again, they had on the back, they had what they were making at the time. So this must have been older because they have the vacuform ornaments and the vacuform background. So this is before a lot of the jewel box ornaments that they made. There's that. And before I leave, everyone's favorite Penn-Plax, they did make a vacuform insert that went in, really inside of a terrarium. They said it's for terrariums or aquariums, but I don't know why you'd put it in an aquarium. I guess you could. You'd have to weight it down. You put the gravel on the edges. But these are super rare. It wasn't on the market very long. I guess it didn't sell. And they just very brittle. So I think with time, if they weren't kept out of the sun and everything, that they didn't last. So, well, I think that is all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It's, again, a little tour through backgrounds, which I found kind of interesting, and I get to relive some of my childhood memories with this Cryst-L-Craze and this foil. All right, I thank you guys so much, and again, we have a lot of stuff coming up. I'll see you again next time. Take care.